Welcome to the next video in my series on Netbox. In the last video, we just read the introduction. In this video, we're going to be moving on to the next section in the official Netbox documentation found at docs.netbox.dev, which is installation. Okay, so the first section of installation has some text here. The installation instructions provided here have been tested to work on Ubuntu 20.04 and CentOS 8.03. The particular commands needed to install dependencies on other distributions may vary significantly. Unfortunately, this is outside the control of the Netbox maintainers. Please consult your distribution's documentation for assistance with any errors. The following sections detail how to set up a new instance of Netbox. So we've got our post-GRE SQL database, Redis, Netbox components, Gunicorn, HTTP server, and LDAP authentication is optional. So we've got some requirements here, but it looks like we're going to be setting up these two eventually. And these are just minimum versions. So by now, those will probably be the default versions to install, hopefully. Below is a simplified overview of the Netbox application stack for reference. So, yep, so I think one thing to note about this is the dependencies. So in order to have a PostgreSQL SQL database, well, I actually don't think that works that way because you can have a database without having Django installed and certainly without having Netbox installed. So I guess I'm not sure how to interpret this. I don't think it's that important going forward. We're not going to be upgrading, so I'm going to skip that. All right, so let's start with the post-GRE SQL database installation. I'm going to be installing this on a virtual machine in GNS3. So here's it is for Netbox series. So I have a simple topology here right now, which is just and even this is a bit much right now. This is just going to be for the initial. Eventually, I'm going to want to build out like an actual network. But now we do basically just need this machine here, which we can see already is 1804. As we saw, it's been tested to work on 2004, so we're going to need to get 2004. We could do that from updating 1804. I'm a little bit, since this is all virtualization, I'm not sure if we can get 2004 working because the server where Netbox is run on is 1804 of Ubuntu, but we'll try it. All right, so I need to wait for this to boot up. Looks like it's good to go. So we'll log in now. Taking a little bit. Okay, yeah, it's going to be slow because it's virtualization. So clean up these favorites. Okay, so all we really need is we need access to our files. We need something to just do a quick note on, and then we need a browser. We actually do need one more thing, the terminal. So I'll add that to favorites. And then most importantly, we need a network connection. And looks like we have one. We also need DNS. Yep, and we've got DNS. So we've got everything we need to to follow these instructions and get Netbox up and running in this lab. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to install or try to upgrade Ubuntu 18.04 to Ubuntu 20.04. So we've got a software updated already. It looks like it's going to try to do that automatically for me, which is really nice. In this case, usually it's not that nice. Okay, so I'm going to click um, install now. Okay. And I've got to give it administrative privileges to do that. And I actually looked over what was being updated. I didn't see that it was being transitioned to version 20.04. But we can verify that by doing cat etc os release. And we should see this version changed to 20.04. Um, oh, what the heck? So it looks like it failed to download package files because there was an issue with the internet connection. Looks fine to me. It has a port, it had DNS, it had connectivity to Google, so I don't know what's going on there. But it could just be an issue with that program. I like to do most things from the terminal. So let's do a Google search here. How to upgrade Ubuntu from the terminal. How to upgrade a balloon. So there we go. Here we go. This should be good. So um, so this looks like it's just the package manager. That might be all that's uh, how to update from Ubuntu 18 to 20 from the terminal. Oh, and there we go. This is exactly what I need. I think I'm going to keep this in a note and add this to the comments or to the um, yeah, to the description for the video. This might be useful for people. So here we go. Here's the procedure. So first thing we got to do is upgrade all installed packages. Then we need to reboot. Then we need to run the Ubuntu update tool. Then we need to start the update. And then we need to reboot again. And then verify. So to verify, I'll be issuing this command again, and we should see it move to 20.04. All right, so let's start with the first command in that guide. All right, and some of these might take a while, so I will probably pause and come back. This smoothie I'm having here needs chocolate, so I might go add that. Oh, and I'm taking a COVID test, which is 15 minutes have elapsed, so I need to check that. Okay, so I will pause it, and I will be right back. All right, let's keep going on this. So I've got VNC. Looks like I went to a lock screen. You can probably disable that somehow. Ah, no, it's still going. Not only is it still going, it's actually at not even at 50% yet. And this is the first command. I also need to reboot and I need to start the Ubuntu update tool, which undoubtedly is going to take a long time. Um, One thing that might be interesting is to monitor the or just try to determine my do like a speed test. I'm gonna do that. So I can just do one simple from Google. Yeah, unfortunately it's really laggy, but that makes sense because it's in a virtual machine. Not only is it in a virtual machine, it's in a remote server that I'm accessing through Wi-Fi. I don't have a cable connection to it. I could put it in this room, but it gets a little noisy sometimes, so that's not ideal. If I put it in this room though, I would be able to do a cabled connection to it. But honestly, like that's not that bad. 30 megabits per second. We can see in the gauge, they consider that to be a pretty high score. Um, Even my upload's really good too. So yeah, it's not so much that my internet is slow, even though I'm sure for some people watching this, this is unacceptably slow. For myself, it's unacceptably slow. I've tried to get a fiber connection here, but I've had issues with that. I should work on that today. Get that. That would change my life so much to get a better internet connection. Because my job is the internet. All right, so we still got a long ways to go on that. I'm not sure what to do because that's a lot of extra time, which I guess I could do something with. Uh, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't even know. Let's try to disable the lock screen. How to disable the Ubuntu lock screen? I bet you if I say Ubuntu Linux, it'll show up. How to disable the Ubuntu Linux lock screen? I just can't. That's a tongue twister. I can't even say that. All right. Well, anyways, top right gear icon, which of course I don't have. Um, but I think they want me to go here. Oh, I do have an ear gear icon. It's just on the left. Oh, this is where they wanted me to go. So next step, privacy tab. Lock screen, let's turn that off. It just gets annoying. It's a VM anyway. Don't need. Definitely don't do this in production, but off. We can get notifications. That's okay for now. All right, 60%. Internet speed was not the issue. Yeah, so I'm not sure what to do in the meantime. You know what? Let's do this. Let's keep reading this. Uh, and then once everything's ready, we can skip reading the text. So this section entails installation and configuration of a local PostgreSQL database. If you already have that in place, skip to the next section. We probably will not. Database creation. At a minimum, we need to create a database for Netbox and assign it a username and password for authentication. Start by invoking the shell for the database as the system user for the database, not for Linux. Within the shell, enter the following commands to create the database and user, substituting your own value for the password. Do not use the password from the example. So I'll probably be using a much stronger example password than what we see here in the example. I'll be using password because it's just um, a demo here. Verify service status. You can verify that authentication works by executing this command and passing the configured username and password. Replace localhost with your database server if using a remote database. If successful, you will enter a Netbox prompt. I'm going to wander off on a tangent here, which I don't typically like to do so much, but I end up doing all the time because I've just got to wait for like things to download. But I've been thinking a lot about these videos, and I love making videos like this, but I feel like I have a long ways to go to before I make actual like important videos for people that people actually want to watch that actually benefits the tech community. And one of the things I've been doing in these videos is just, reading documentation out loud, trying to like make myself a key feature in these videos. And I'm not sure if that's the appropriate way to go about these. I mean, let's think about what I'm doing here. I'm just installing Netbox. Anyone can do that. You don't need to watch a video to do that. Like, if you need to do this and you're watching me, you're off on the wrong foot. Like, just go to the documentation and do it. You don't need someone to read things out loud. Like, it helps me to like have good presentation skills and to have better verbal skills, and like it develops my voice and stuff. But I mean, let's be real. If you're on the job, just follow the documentation. Don't waste time, um, watching this video. Um, when it comes to learning skills for a job, this is really inefficient. I don't need to be reading this out loud. I just need to be following through. Now, it does help me to maintain my focus. I could easily see myself just wandering away from the computer and not coming back for a few hours if I weren't making a video. So there's that. But what I'm getting at is there's another channel I found called ASMR programming, and I'll feature that on this channel because it's really one of the most interesting channels I've found in a while. I'm subscribed to it, and it looks like it's just not one channel. It's a like concept. So that's something I could do with this channel as well as ASMR computer network engineering, and just like configure like Junipers and Cisco's and all that, and then just like share my screen, point my camera at my keyboard and mouse, and then don't say a word for half an hour, 2 hours, whatever. I could see that's some direction I could. So might be a good time to do a blog post on that. Ah, looks like we're almost ready for the next command though. The next command will be rebooting. Okay, but in the meantime, we do have some time. So I'm gonna read over my latest entry in my blog that I've been keeping, and I need to redo this blog and keep it somewhere else. Because one of the things I use it for most commonly is I click on this April post here, and then I just get this because this is like super useful to use on the job or like anywhere because you can highlight what part of the website you want somebody to take a look at. So I'll demo that just because I've got the extra time. It doesn't work all the time, but it works more often than not. The other thing to know is it highlights the first instance of that text. So if there's multiple instances, um, it's only going to highlight the first instance. But you can see, yep, it worked. It highlighted it in well, you couldn't see it worked here, but oh, yeah, you can. So it shows up in purple, and uh, it's super useful. I use it all the time. But I don't have it memorized what it actually is, so I come to this blog post and I grab it from there. All right, we're good to go. So next step is sudo reboot. All right, and then after that is install the update tool, which it's probably already installed, but we'll run this anyways. It'll let us know. Okay. Yeah, so this was November 21st, and that's after a year of making videos. My first video probably wasn't posted in November though. My first video, let's see when that was posted. Or I can just go to videos, sort by oldest, and now hopefully there's a timestamp. Okay, yeah, so March 29th, which makes sense because that's when everything shut down for the pandemic. Like March 16th was the big date for the pandemic when everything shut down. So like a few weeks later, I took the plunge and started my YouTube channel like I've been thinking about doing. Um, so it's been over 2 years of making these videos. Um, so I guess it's time for another blog update on that. Okay, but the reboot is now complete. Yeah, it's going to be laggy. It's over Wi-Fi. It's a VM. Okay. All right. Next step is to run the update tool or to install the update tool, which I probably already have. Okay. Yep. So it's already installed. So the next step is to run the update tool. Checking for a new release. Should find 2004. It found something. I don't know what it found. It looks like there's more detailed instructions down here in this guide, which is nice. I'm just following the quick and simple guide, but it looks like if you're going to do this in production, you shouldn't be following these steps here. You should be following the more detailed steps because you're definitely going to want to make a backup. Um, but it looks like there's even more things that you're going to want to do to remove unused kernels. You don't want your space, your disk space, to be hogged up by stuff that you don't need anymore. So this looks like a really wonderful guide. You've got your quick instructions here for the lab, like I'm doing, and then you've got your more detailed instructions for production. Okay, so the final or the penultimate step will be another reboot, and then the final step will be checking that file that lists the version, making sure it's at 2004 LTS. Yes, I would like to continue. So we've got 16 packages will be removed, 332 will be installed. We're going to download a gig. So it says it'll take 4 minutes. Oh my God, it says it will take several hours. I can't do that. That's not going to work. But anyways, we see we've got the right version at least, so that's good news. If I were doing it for like version 19, that would be bad. All right, but in the meantime, I can keep doing other things that are going to be important. So let's do let's make a new blog post. Um, and this will be another network lessons, uh, future of the channel. We'll say lately haven't been making videos with the same veracity, consistency, and joy as I had been. My latest videos have been a struggle to know what is important to focus on and what I want to do publicly. Is veracity the right term? I feel like it is. Oh, I think I mean tenacity. Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, so lately I haven't been making videos with the same tenacity, consistency as joy as I had been. That's that's true. I really liked creating the JNCIE SP series. My latest videos have been a struggle to know what is important to focus on, both in the short and long term. That's true too. I had been focusing on reading books about things I thought were important, but it was kind of a fractured focus, and I never really like felt like I finished the books or got anything useful on camera. Um, and the worst part is I would read a book. I would like have a job interview where they'd ask me a question about like what I read, like really fair questions. And I wouldn't know. So like my methods of just reading a book out loud and doing tutorials don't seem to be all that effective. And I think the reason for that is just I have this broadness I'm creating for myself that is to the point where like yeah, it's just too broad. I need to narrow in my focus on things that really matter and become an expert in those things. So I've learned a lot about myself over the pandemic, the biggest thing I learned is work from home is a, and I want to say the word panacea. Is that right? Yeah, that's the correct word. It's a panacea. I used to have horrible issues with body focused repetitive behaviors, skin picking, nail biting, disgusting behaviors that I wanted to go away. I used to be in a lot of pain all the time because I would bite at my nails, and it to the point where it just hurt. And I realized lately, because I've been kind of doing some things that I don't normally do out in the community, like these dances I've been going to. Um, the reason I do that is because that pain is helps ground my mind and bring my mind back to reality and keeps my mind from reacting to the stress and the overwhelm, the overstimulation I'm experiencing when I'm not in an environment that I have control over and that I can shape to my needs. So for me, going forward in my career, it has to be about remote work. I have to keep, you know, focusing on skills and opportunities that allow me to work uh, in an environment I can shape to my needs. Otherwise, I have no issues with body focused repetitive behavior. I have some. I went on uh, I did something yesterday that caused me a little bit of nervousness, and I was biting at my nail, but I never got it to the point where it was so bad. And then I learned more positive coping strategies, like just making an imprint in my skin with a nail instead of like actually causing myself damage. Just having that stability where I can spend significant amounts of time in this environment that has everything I need. It's been such a game changer to me. I really think going back to those to the work environments I'm more used to and that I've spent the majority of my time in is going to be very counterproductive to my overall contribution I can make as a conscious entity during the limited amount of time I have that privilege. So I'm going to write, I have learned a few key things about myself lately that will help me determine where to go next in my career. Number one, I do not struggle with BFRBs or other signs of extreme distress and anxiety when I work from home, even when there are significant stressors present from work. So that's something I noticed. I actually had in my last job like a maintenance or some special situation where I had to like be up until 3 a.m. and I was able to do that just fine. So not only do I have less stress and anxiety and even really destructive behaviors like BFRB, these when I work from home, my ability to be present and to not work from home, to go out and do on-site work is just through the roof. I mean, I just spending time locked in an office, forced into synchronous communication with um, people that really I've got to be careful with what I say here, but being able to curate and design more aspects of your life, and to have that freedom to choose what you do, um, even something as simple as I'm gonna go lay on the couch for a minute to like ease my mind, or like I need to think about this thing, so I'm gonna think about it, you know, while I'm walking out back. My vacuum started. I'm gonna turn it off. But before I do that, I will check. Okay. Okay. My vacuum is putting itself back because for me to pick it up and put it back is not something I'm going to do right now. Okay, so yeah, but what I'm doing now is I've been wanting to do this too for I wanted to make like a separate video on this. Um, yeah. Number two, um, yeah, the other thing I used to get when it got really bad, it's in my left eye. I would get like um a tick in my eye where it would like flutter. It would go like brrr, like it was like I used to get that regularly, but it was only when things were so bad. It was like my body was like almost knocking on my face like a door saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you living your life this way? Like you're not gonna survive this if you keep doing this." And that, I used to think those kinds of things made you stronger, and you're just resilient in the face of stress. But after working from home, I realized no, that weakens you. Like that really takes away your capacity to think and to act in ways that are useful. Shoot. Well, oh man, I'm even thinking about scrapping this video because this is not the video I intended to make. But you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna go back to GNS3, and then I'm going to add an end device to GNS3, which already has 2004 to it. So I'm going to create a new template. It'll be from the GNS3 server. It'll be a guest. All right, and then let's do Ubuntu desktop guest. Install. Install on main appliance. Okay. Aha. So yeah, now we've got our pick of the version. So I'm going to upload, or rather download. Yeah, I'm going to uh, click import here. Oops, sorry. Or click download. Yeah, so it'll redirect me to a place where I can download it. Oh, they're already at 2022 now. we'll just stick with 2004 because that's what the directions were set up for. Okay, so this should be saved to my downloads folder. And unfortunately, it's going to be 20 minutes for that. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, this is taking a long time. I don't think I can continue to make a video like this, and I want it to be somewhere at 10. So it's a 40-minute video. I'm gonna squash it here. In the description, I'll leave this guide here because that'd be useful to someone in production. But yeah, that's it for this video. Unfortunately, it's not the video I intended to make. But hopefully somebody finds it useful just simply because they need to update a Ubuntu server in production and they need to find a good guide for that. This is a good guide. But at the same time, if you just Google it, that's the first result I found when I Googled. But anyways, as I've said, these videos are kind of for me anyways, and I spent some time on this today, which is important to me, even though it was only like 40 minutes. Um, so yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.